Ladies and gentlemen, it's here. Forza Horizon 4 has finally been released after so many months of painful waiting, and I'm ready to review it. This is by far the longest script I've ever written for anything I've ever done, so don't expect too much editing. There's not much more to say, let's just stop the chit chat and review the bloody game. As I predicted, this map is easily a number one for me. Yes, we don't have the variety of biomes like we did in Horizon 3, beginning to sound like Minecraft, but who bloody cares when we have a map that is so simultaneously beautiful and fun at the same time? Seriously, just driving around, I've just stopped to have a look where I am. It's great, and times when I've been looking for barn finds using the drone, it's just mesmerising. I love this map, but most of my enjoyment has been through driving in it. I love how both the roads, motorways, tracks, dirt roads and even the fields all blend together to make such a great map. I've been playing this game for a solid 2 days out of recording this, but there is still so much of the map for me to discover. For some specifics, well, we have Glen Rannoch, which really does fill my need for more vertical exploration in Forza Horizon games, as well as being properly beautiful. There's Ambleside and Derwentwater, which in my opinion are pretty good representations of the Lake District and are also beautiful and fun. There's Lakehurst Forest with all its winding dirt roads, and the Quarry, possibly one of the best playground arenas I've played yet. There's the dunes of Bamburgh Castle, which is a great place to pull out your beetle buggy. And of course there's Edinburgh. Now, just a bit of a tangent here, but I never really liked Surfer's Paradise. It honestly felt a bit like a paper town for me, like it wasn't really a real living, breathing place. But Edinburgh, yeah, it seems so full of life, and although you don't have the vast beaches and towering skyscrapers of Surfers, it makes up for it in all the detail, as well as all the winding roads to find throughout the city. There are so many other places to talk about, such as Moorhead Wind Farm to Broadway, but you get the point. This map is amazing. My god, there is so much to talk about when it comes to cars. I'll start with the 3 sets you are able to choose from in the single player mode. Out of the first 3, at the start of the game, I chose the Focus. How could I not? After the Corsa, it's probably the most British car ever. And with that wide body kit, it looks kinda dumb, but it's a bloody beast. The second of the cars were for rallying, and this was a difficult choice, but I ended up going for the 037. I would have gone with the Subaru, but it showed up as a null car, and that scared me, but more on that later. Now the 037 is a classic rally car, but you know, throw on a turbo rally engine and turbocharger and Bob's your uncle. And out of the third set, I chose the Range Rover. I didn't use it. When it comes to any off-roading, I always use a rally car, and so it was quickly replaced by my lovely RS200. But on to more exciting stuff, the new cars. Let's start small with the P50. It's the smallest in the game, the slowest in the game, but it's definitely the most fun in the game. Throw in that motorcycle engine and you have a 300 horsepower beast. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have the Unimog, which is even better in my opinion. Seriously, using 10 gears feels so surreal, and just the experience of driving this thing blows my mind, and I love it. I honestly can't describe in words how it is to play it, just, well, play with it yourself. It sounds like an innuendo. Oops. Then there are all the other things like the RS6, the Senna, the Chiron and the 8-litre Bentley, but I don't think I have time to discuss all of them, mostly because I haven't tried them all out yet, but just know that from what I've seen I'm probably gonna like them. But what I do have time to talk about are the 2 day 1 car packs, starting with Formula Drift. God damn it, I love all of these cars. Rarely have I bought a car pack for all the cars in it. Usually just 1 or 2 catch my eye, but I'm glad that I got the Ultimate Edition. And I know that the fact that it comes part of the Ultimate Edition sort of makes the argument pointless, but I know that if this was a car pack released separately and I had to buy it, I probably would. But onto the cars, there's the BMW E30, which feels light and nimble, the Mustang, the meatiest drift of the group, and my personal favourites, the 3 Nissans. They're all so similar, yet all so different. if you get what I mean. Highly recommend getting this pack at some point if you haven't got the Ultimate Edition. But even better in my opinion are the James Bond cars. There's the Aston Martin DB5 with that growl of a V8 and those spikes on the wheels, the awesome Lotus Elise able to swim, there's the Jaguar CX-75, a surprising favourite of mine, and of course there's the TCV, pretty much the French cousin of the Reliant Robin. Once again, I'm a fan of each and every car in this pack, and I once again recommend purchasing it at some point down the line. I have really enjoyed single player here, more so than the last game. I have spent my fair share of the time in the online mode, but more on that later. Basically, it works completely differently from Forza Horizon 3. As a refresher, in 3 you were the boss of the Horizon Festival Down Under. As you gained fans from racing, you could choose to build and upgrade festival sites, which would thereby unlock more events for you to take part in, which would thereby enable you to get more fans. Here, I like it better. Because you're no longer the boss, you now have to progress through predetermined races. How do you unlock them? By leveling up in a specific category. To explain what I mean, you start the game by getting 2 road races unlocked. Complete them, then you get influence from them, and that influence is used to progress you to road racing round 2, and then you unlock more races for road racing. It works like this for every category, such as the dirt racing, the off-roading, street racing, all that. As well as unlocking new races with each category, every time you level up you'll get a reward. Yeah, it can be something as useless as a piece of clothing or a quick chat emote, but it can be quite cool. For example, progress to round 4 of the street racing series and you unlock the GTR R34, which you cannot obtain otherwise. You can also obtain other things like wheel spins. Yes, wheel spins return, and they are the exact same as the last game, except now you can unlock horns and clothing through them. But the big one of course is the super wheel spins. Basically they're 3 wheel spins in one, which supposedly allows you to get better prizes more regularly, but from my experience it's not true. I cannot count how many times I've received 3 items of clothing at once, which I really didn't want. But let's talk other forms of progression, i.e. the prologue. The prologue in this game is quite long, the longest in any Forza game yet. After completing the 4 Seasons demo, you are dropped into summer. Then you have to complete a few events here and there, and gain experience in order to qualify for the Horizon Autumn season. Then you head for the festival site, and it changes to autumn, and the whole process starts again. Now you have to progress to winter. Then you unlock winter, and it starts again, and now you have to progress to spring. Then you progress to spring, and now you have to gain influence from events in order to qualify for the roster. Basically, when you enter the roster, you enter the full game, and the whole season thing begins, but more on that later. I also want to talk about houses. In Forza Horizon 3, I did find myself with a lot of excess money, and not knowing what to spend it on, a truly tragic idea I know. Forza Horizon 4 rectifies this with the introduction of houses. Houses, as well as being a Horizon festival away from festival, meaning you can buy, upgrade and paint cars here and whatever else you can do at the festival, but it also gives you exclusive bonuses. For example, one house gives you the ability to fast travel anywhere, one house introduces skill songs, and Edinburgh Castle gives you a crown to wear. Yeah, I really like the idea of houses. And then I have to of course talk about the showcase events. The hovercraft, okay, I got a bit bored with that one, and the motorcycle one in the forest was just the one from the demo, which once again I got pretty bored with. I did enjoy the Halo showcase event because it's quite unique, but my favourites would have to be the Jet and the Flying Scotsman. Once again, I can't describe why, just play them for yourselves and you'll understand. They are some incredibly fun moments. And finally, there are the story events. There's the stunt driver events where you have to achieve certain objectives around the map as they film a movie featuring your driving. There's world's fastest rentals where you drive the world's fastest cars as a rental service. There's the YouTuber, I can't remember her name, who counts down her top 10 cars and top 10 video games simultaneously and has you drive a particular car in the form of a particular game. And there's Drift Club. You drift. A lot. All in all, single player is a very fulfilling experience, and not just a chore that allows me to get the 100% completion mark. Okay, seasons are great. I know that by now it just sounds like I'm trying to suck this game off as much as I can, but I promise you I'm not sponsored. But seasons are really fun. We'll start off with spring. Spring is strange. It's pretty much the combination of summer and winter. Yes, it's sunny, green, and the roads are clear of snow, but a lot of it is still covered in water and a lot of mud. One for you off-road enthusiasts. Summer is pretty much what you think of when you think of a racing game. It's sunny, warm, the roads are clear, and it's incredibly fast. This is the season for you hypercar enthusiasts. Autumn is spring, but brown and covered in leaves with a little less mud. It's personally my favourite season, and it's definitely one for you off-road enthusiasts. And then there's winter, the one people were worried about, but you can put those fears to rest, because even if you want to try and beat your speed record in the Senna, you can. Most of the roads are clear of snow and ice, it's just the B roads and tracks that are covered, but even then, it's not that bad. I don't have much more to say here, just that seasons were a great idea and they've been well implemented. Okay, so this part is going to be fairly short due to the lack of time I've spent with the online mode so far, but from what I've seen so far I like it, and there's a lot of features. There's now a huge focus on teams. It's all about the collective here. The races themselves are the same. You've got your basic point-to-point and circuit races. Playground games return, which you can opt out of with a specific race-only mode, but there are a few new additions. For one thing, remember between races on an online adventure in Forza Horizon 3 you had to get to the next destination as quickly as possible and take any route you wanted across the map to get there? Well, that's now an event, and I like it. There's also ranked online for those of you who are a little more competitive. In it you compete to win points or something, and as you collect more you ascend the leagues, and with each new league you get specific rewards, like cars and exclusive hats. I think of it like Mario Kart Online if you've ever played that, which I have. A lot. I haven't played it yet, but I can't wait to progress to the point where I unlock it, because the Grandmaster reward, which is the highest league of this season, is the Forza Edition Vulcan. Yes, bloody please. But the biggest addition in terms of online is Forzathon Live. Now, while the basic Forzathon does return where you complete challenges yourself to win prizes, Forzathon Live changes the game. Every hour, on the hour, a red circle will appear somewhere on the map. Drive to that circle before the time runs out and you'll be entered into a team activity, where as a group you must reach a certain goal. For example, reach 1 million points on a drift zone, or reach 5,000 feet on a jump, or get 50 drift skill points. It's really satisfactory seeing your contribution aid the larger goal along with other racers' efforts, and every time I see the alert for a Forzathon Live pop up at the top of the screen, I can't help but stop whatever adventure I'm going on and drive into the circle. Oh yeah, it wasn't going to be all flowers here today. I've experienced quite a lot of things happen in my game. While they may not be game breaking, far from it, they are noticeable and hopefully they will be patched in the future. For example, sometimes completely randomly, my game will seem to slow down for about a second and then return to normal. Whether that's connectivity or lagging issues I don't know, but it definitely is the most common. And as I mentioned near the start, the Subaru, one of the options you could pick before the first dirt racing series, showed up as a null car while the text and narration still called it a Subaru. I've also experienced the ground in the mid-distance disappearing sometimes too, although it seems to happen most regularly when I go off a big jump or a high cliff or something like that. Something else I've noticed very recently is sometimes the sounds doesn't work. Like I'll rev up my engine and then I'll stop racing and my engine is still making noises like it's revved up. It's really weird, I can't describe it. But if any of you do have explanations for these occurrences, please let me know, because, you know, I would like to find out why. But if you haven't got the game already, don't let these glitches deter you, because they are really minor, like, really minor, nothing game breaking here. And there it is, I am out of steam. I cannot talk about this game anymore. Just know that if you liked Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizon 2, Forza 7, Need for Speed Payback, The Crew 2, actually, if you liked any racing game ever, you'll probably like this. It has something for everyone, and I can quite confidently say that this is going to be one of my favourite games, not only in the Forza Horizon series, not only in the Forza series, but of all time. Yeah, and that's only with me playing about 15 hours of this game so far. Anyway, I'll be off. I've got some balance to find.